Hello and welcome to Birmingham University Guild of Students building. This is an absolutely marvellous place that you'll doubtless get to know very well in your 3 years here. And the programme we're making at the moment is the equivalent of the Guild Handbook, and it's called the Video Handbook. We're going to show you the institutions, bars, all sorts of interesting things like that inside the Guild. You've read the book, now see the film. I don't know when the t-shirt's coming out, I'm afraid. To help you, we have a map. And because you're probably pretty stupid, I'll explain that orange is the ground floor, red represents the first floor. Now, I'll just go over that again. Orange for the ground floor, red for the first floor. Okay? Right, can we go inside now before this becomes a testicle-free production, please? So, here we are in new reception, and what's in shot now is the ticket booth, where you can buy tickets for all those wonderful Guild events that you just wouldn't want to miss. Panning round, we then have new reception, where you can actually get information on all sorts of things, then the lift if you're disabled, and finally ending up with the Guild shop, which shows a wide range of extremely competitively priced goods. Founders, which is the biggest bar in Union, and on the map it's about here. This is a bar to come to if you're a pretty hep dude and you drop words like psychic TV and social awareness into your language on a regular basis. Then we moved up to the Mermaid, which is on the first floor in the Union, and it's the bar that's generally used by the more serious lunchtime drinkers. Oh, we're now in the Postgraduate and Mature Students Association room. This is in the depths below new reception, and the reason it's not desperately full at the moment is probably because the bar isn't open. The bar here doesn't open usually at lunchtimes, but they do provide very good lunches. But if you come back in the evening, then you just might get a drink if you're really lucky. We'd like to show you the cellar, but unfortunately that's so new that it just hasn't opened yet. We're so innovative at the Union. Can't wait to show you a good time down there. It's nice and black and sort of we can't see anything that's going on, and they're painting the stairs red at the moment, which is why they won't let us in there, but I'm sure it'll be a really great place to go. Now in the first of the eateries, which is Vernon's on the ground floor just here. This is a place to come at lunchtime if you want a fairly chunky traditional repast of meat and 2 veg. There's also a range of vegetarian foods. So this is the place for the big main meal at lunchtime. Coffee bar, which is just next door to Vernon's. And surprisingly enough, this is a place to come if you want a cup of coffee, assuming you have time for one between your rigorous schedule of lectures. As well as coffees, there's a wide range of snacks, as well as things like tea, fruit juice, milk and so forth. Priestley's. And this is quite unique in universities, in being somewhere for fast food where you can buy things like burgers, pizzas, fried chicken, and all those things are absolutely wonderful for hardening your arteries and generally causing premature death. We've now moved on to the services around the Guild, and the first one we've come to is the Midland Bank, which is about here on the map. And this is the only bank that's actually got a branch within the Guild, and there's all the normal services you'd expect, such as cash point, ability to cash checks, pay money, and all that sort of thing. To the Student Advice Centre. Now you can come here if you've got problems in almost any area. It provides legal advice with campus law, some student accommodation, part-time jobs, travel information. In fact, if you've got almost anything wrong with you, they can probably help you out. And then moving a bit further around, we have External Affairs, and they deal with matters outside the Guild that are of interest to students. It includes organisations like Anti-Apartheid and CND. A bit further around is Student Reception, which is involved with showing new students around the Guild. And just next to Student Reception is COMAC, which is an organisation helping those also outside the Guild with problems such as mental and physical disabilities, helps the aged, and it's generally a very helpful organisation. The Guild Travel Office, where surprisingly enough you can get things like flights, rail travel, coaches, and all sorts of useful things like that if you want to get away from this place. Moving gently in this direction, we have Ainsley Insurance and an innocent passerby. Ainsley Insurance caters specifically for students and does things like cars, belongings, bicycles, in fact almost anything you've got that you might not well break. The opticians, where you can get free sight tests, glasses and contact lens fitted on prescription. Shifted into special whispering mode for the snooker room, which is just next door to the opticians. There's 8 full-size tables in here that you can use for the cost of just 50 pence for half an hour on the production of your Guild card. Up in the games room and TV lounge, we have pool and a variety of electronic machines varying from traditional pinball through to Roadrunner, trivia quizzes and all that sort of thing. Toilets, baths and showers. And not only that, but of course the obligatory Durex machine. And just next door we have the University hairdressing salon with our very own barber. And very reasonable she is too. Yeah. And at Reprographics, which it does a lot of the printing around the guild. It prints Bugs, for example, the in-house magazine that tells you what's going on around the university. Further to my left, a bit further down, is Fredbrick, the university newspaper. The first floor of the union in the council chamber, which is just about here on the map, top right-hand corner. Now, this is the place where all the debates go on, what witty sallies have been thrown across the floor. Well, not many in most of the debates, but you never know now and again. There's even fewer witty sallies during the guild council meetings, which are held up here, I think it's twice a term, when guild policy is thrashed out by the sabbaticals and guild councillors who are elected by you according to which department they're in. Well, we've now moved just along from here to here, so we're still in the top right-hand corner on the first floor. We're in Committee Room 1, which is available for discussions by committees, clubs, societies, in fact almost anybody who wants to hold a meeting. There are other public meeting rooms along the first floor as well. There's the Mandela room, just down the corridor, and further along the private dining room. In between them is the reading room, which is a quiet room where you can go and work or whatever if you actually feel like doing that around the guild. Also upstairs there's the women's room, which is devoted solely to the use of the women's group and other women. Just outside the president's office. I'm just crouching here in the hope that he'll come outside and trample all over me if I'm very lucky. The other sabbaticals are also on the Olympia Nights of the second floor, but they're just round the corner and sort of along a bit further. Besides, they're so inferior and I don't want them walking on me. Well, we've moved outside again to show you St Francis Hall, which is the chaplaincy centre. This is the centre of university religious life, and it has priests of most denominations. Just next door is Nightline, which is a telephone organisation you can ring any time during the night if you have emotional or any other problems. So, here we are, darlings, in the Deb Hall, scene of all that is most artistic and creative in the university, featuring such things as pop concerts, big plays, major touring politicians, films on Sunday night. In fact, anything of great artistic, literary or other merit that requires a large audience to fuel the egos of its stars. Back on home ground at the GTV studio, we just thought we'd put a small plug in. This time, well, that's the end of our tour of the Union. I'd just like to thank my producer, my director, my co-stars and everybody else who made this possible. And the final thing I'd like to say is that don't just listen to me telling you how good everything is and so much that's on offer around Union. Go and use it for yourself. It really is quite surprising how much there is on offer.